Aunt shows up at my house, with all her stuff, tells me she's going to be living with me for a while. So, without getting too political, we recently had an election in the USA. My aunt supported one side, while her husband and adult offspring supported the other side. The election did not go the way my aunt wanted it to. Aunt proceeded to flip her shit, breaking things, yelling, and even going as far as to set her daughter's "I voted" sticker on fire. Her husband called the cops. The cops declined to arrest her for anything, but suggested that she find a different place to stay for the night. This happened yesterday, in New Jersey. Fast forward to 2 a.m. today. Here I am sleeping peacefully in my home, with my family, over 500 miles from all that drama. My fence alarm goes off, waking me up. IDK if it's a bear or a trespasser, so I get my pants on and grab my shotgun, just to be safe. Turns out, my aunt cut the lock off my front gate, because she couldn't get in, and I wasn't answering my phone. Why did she have bolt cutters in her car? So, I safely stow my weapon and ask her WTF? She starts crying, and screaming, mind you, this is at 2 a.m., in a quiet rural community, about how the devil took her family and they threw her out. And she says that since she has nowhere else to go, I need to let her in, so she can stay in my guest room for a while. I told her, one of my guildies is using that room right now. The room is occupied. This person came from Texas all the way to West Virginia to hang out with me. I'm not gonna toss them out with 30 seconds of notice because my aunt showed up. So, she decides to call the police and tell them that I'm keeping her from entering her home. We're out in the woods, so the cops don't get here quick. For 41 a.m., the cops show up. I see them talking to her in my driveway. She shows them the bolt cutters and the ruined lock. A few minutes later, the officer knocks on my door. Your tenant claims that dash. I immediately cut him off, and tell him that I do not have a tenant. I own and occupy this structure. I offer to show him the deed. Well, this woman claims dash. I cut him off again. What's the address on her ID say? At this point, the cop is pissed at me. I can tell. So I try to de-escalate the situation. Look man, she doesn't live here. She has never lived here. That's my aunt. She lives in New Jersey. Please check her ID card. Cop calms down a bit, and lets me know that he will talk to her and then come back. 10 minutes later, the cops come back to my door. 3 of them this time, not just the one from earlier. One of them had stripes and a rocker on his arm, so I could tell he was important. He asks me if there's any way aunt can stay here for the night, because she's too drunk to drive, so he can't let her back on the road. This woman just drove from New Jersey to WV drunk. Thank God she didn't kill anyone. I told them that she cannot stay here, but that I'm sure there's room in the local jail. The cop asks me if she can just sleep in her car in my driveway, and leave in the morning. I told him absolutely not. When she wakes up in the morning, I would just have to call them to come get her off my property. So that would solve nothing. I asked them to remove her from my property. Long story short, her car got towed, and she is in the drunk tank, no charges pending, for the night. So much for sleeping tonight. My kids need to be up for school soon.